They told us the mind was a battlefield, and that some soldiers could leave their bodies behind. Those words came from a man the CIA once denied even existed. U.S. Army remote viewer Joseph McMonigle. He claimed he could spy on enemy secrets from a locked room in Maryland. And for 20 years, the government insisted he was lying. For decades, the CIA hid a secret war fought without bullets. A war waged in silence, in darkness, in the fragile machinery of the human mind. They called it Project Stargate, a massive intelligence experiment built around an impossible question. Could psychic powers be turned into a weapon? The Soviets believed it. The Pentagon feared it. And the CIA bet millions that it might just be real. Tonight, the files finally speak. The story starts in the late 1960s, peak Cold War, a time when the superpowers weren't just racing to the moon. They were racing into the human mind. Reports began trickling in from behind the Iron Curtain. KGB laboratories studying telepathy, psychokinesis, extrasensory perception. If the Soviets could see American secrets without satellites or spies, no bunker or code would mean anything. So in 1972, the CIA turned to two physicists at the Stanford Research Institute, Russell Targ and Harold Puthoff. Their mission? Find out whether ordinary soldiers could be trained to see distant targets. The early results were unsettlingly positive, and that terrified some people inside the agency. If the results were real, even partly real, it meant the US had stumbled into a field with no rulebook, no oversight, and no way to predict where it would lead. Intelligence officers weren't trained for this. Even the scientists weren't sure what they were measuring, or if they were measuring anything at all. Soon, a small, windowless office at Fort Meade, Maryland, became the nerve center of an invisible war. The program changed names: Scanate, Grill Flame, Center Lane. But one name would seal them all: Project Stargate. They didn't recruit mystics. They recruited soldiers, analysts, and officers. The disciplined, the curious, the strange, and sometimes the desperate. One of them was Joseph McMonigle, remote viewer 0ROI. He worked in a chamber known simply as the box. No windows, no clocks. Just a chair, a monitor, and a sealed envelope containing coordinates he wasn't allowed to see. McMonigle described Soviet submarines, underground facilities, and weapons tests thousands of miles away. Some sessions were dismissed, others frightened his handlers. One declassified memo admitted a remote viewer had accurately described the interior of a Soviet research facility, including equipment placement and structural layout. The year, 1974. The location, Semipalatinsk, Kazakhstan. The accuracy, later confirmed by satellite. But psychic intelligence had problems, big ones. No chain of custody, no way to verify in the moment. No guarantee of vision. Wasn't just imagination. Still, the program kept expanding. In 1979, remote viewer Rosemary Smith was tasked with locating a missing Soviet plane. She pointed to a tiny region deep inside the jungles of Zaire. Weeks later, wreckage was found near the spot she marked. Coincidence? Luck? Or something else? As funding grew, oversight shrank. INSCOM, the Army's intelligence command, took over. The sessions got stranger. Some viewers were asked to describe future events. Others were told to enter the mind of foreign leaders. A few were ordered to explore Soviet bases and search for underground tunnels, years before satellites confirmed they existed. One report, declassified in 2000, described a remote viewer who saw a new Soviet submarine under construction in Severodvinsk in 1977. Naval intelligence confirmed the unique hull design years later, but accuracy came with a cost. Viewers reported nightmares, dissociation, sensory overload. They weren't trained for this. They were soldiers asked to do the impossible. Some viewers later admitted they felt like test subjects in an experiment no one fully understood. A few described a strange after effect, a sense of being watched from the inside, as if their own thoughts weren't entirely private anymore. Whether psychological or something stranger, it shook them. By the mid-1980s, the unit had conducted thousands of sessions. Targets included hostage locations in Lebanon, drug cartel hideouts, even the whereabouts of Muammar Gaddafi during US bombing operations. But most of those results never made it into official briefings. Analysts didn't trust data without a physical source. Stargate lived in a fragile space, too promising to shut down, too unreliable to use openly, too bizarre to admit existed. And then came the session that nearly broke the program. In 1983, the Army ran the now famous Mars exploration experiment. A viewer was told to describe Mars, approximately 1 million years BC. The transcript included visions of tall humanoids, ancient structures, and a dying civilization. Skeptics call it proof the program drifted into fantasy. Believers say it shows the government pushed remote viewers far beyond anything resembling intelligence work. Either way, one thing was clear. The agency wasn't just searching for Soviet secrets anymore. They were searching for the limits of human consciousness. Pressure grew. Auditors demanded evidence. In the 1990s, the CIA hired the American Institutes for Research to evaluate Stargate. Statistician Jessica Utz concluded the data showed a genuine psychic phenomenon. Skeptic Ray Hyman disagreed, citing poor controls and inconsistent results. The report was split. And in intelligence, a split verdict is a death sentence. In 1995, after nearly $20 million in classified funding, the CIA shut down Project Stargate. Their official verdict: the program had not been proven useful for real-world intelligence. But buried inside the files was an unsettling line. Some experiments produced results significantly beyond chance. When Stargate's existence became public, journalists demanded answers. Politicians distanced themselves. Officials dismissed the project as Cold War paranoia. But the people inside the program told a different story. McMonigal said he provided intelligence that saved lives. Lynn Buchanan claimed psychic research never truly stopped. Ed Dames argued the public had only seen a fraction of what the unit accomplished. Critics called Stargate a waste, an experiment that chased fantasies. But even they admitted something uncomfortable. Too many sessions matched reality far better than chance should allow. And there was another secret embedded in the files. The US wasn't alone. The Soviets kept their psychic programs running into the 1990s. China launched similar studies. Private defense contractors expressed interest. The Cold War ended. The funding dried up. The program was buried. But the questions never died. Because once you open the door to a phenomenon like this, even a crack, it's almost impossible to close it again. You start wondering what else might be hidden inside human perception. What else the Cold War forced governments to explore, and what never made it into any official report. What happens to intelligence officers trained to use their minds as weapons? Where do they go when the government shuts the door? And what else did they see? That never made it into the declassified folders. Officially, the CIA insists Project Stargate is dead. A relic, a mistake. But intelligence programs rarely die. They migrate. They change names. They move deeper underground. And if the human mind really can reach across space or time, then the real question isn't whether Stargate worked. It's who might be using it. Now, this file is closed. But the next one, it's already open. Subscribe to unlock it.